Welcome to Badger Pod Nerdcast. My name is Allison Tiemann, and I am with Sage Gerard, Hannah Wallen, Crystal Garcia, Rachel Edwards, and Karen Strawn for this 2 weeks episode of Nerdcast, of Honey Badger Nerdcast. And this would be episode 3. And the topics that we are going to cover are Blurred Lines, a short cartoon called Geraldine, and Rape Man.
No,
Rape Man.
Okay. And we might also cover someone calling She-Hulk the She-Slut. So, with Rape Man, if you can be with Rape Man, is Rachel. Go ahead, take her away, Rachel.
Okay. Oh gosh, this is gonna be interesting.
Should I beatbox something?
No, it's okay. Rape Man, the hero we deserve. My experiences with hentai are a mile long, so you might say that I was asking for this review. But jokes aside, I found the plot of Rape Man to be a feel-good black comedy for the ages. If there isn't room for Rape Man in your hearts, you can be assured that he will force his way in. One can only assume that other reviewers are lacking both heart and a sense of humor. Who can blame them, though? Rape is a very hard topic to write about, and people are bound so tightly to cultural norms that they have a hard time escaping. That being said, let's dive right in. From the moment we begin, it is clear that this is satire. Rape Man is an anti-hero that is basically a hired hitman for rape. He is not attached to the politics of the situation, but trusts that his uncle will only take jobs that stand to help people. The problem that people have with it is probably the idea that rape can solve problems. Strangely enough, the problems that Rape Man solves are really problems that have been caused by society. The schoolgirl he rapes is a girl raised by Yakuza members. She predictably becomes a spoiled brat that will not recognize the authority or take advice. Even the change that Rape Man provides isn't helpful. She's still in a family of Yakuza, and that will never end well. She cannot recognize her parents' authority or take their advice because she was never raised to be that way. The closest she will ever come to resolution is to just accept that situation. The second target was a lady thief by the name of Red Cat. It's obvious from the beginning that she is a play on Catwoman. A hit is placed on her to turn her away from a life of crime. This rape scene and every other rape scene is over the top. He throws his handcuffs like a batarang and fucks her while hanging off of the side of a building. In the end, she accepts that this road is not the best for her. Throughout, rape is never portrayed as being a desirable act or even as a means of solving a problem. Despite the strangeness of it all, it is pointing out very real problems in society. These days, people will do almost anything for money. Why not a rape man? Japan is a culture of shame, and despite the fact that the resolution of each story results in the woman taking on a stereotypical gender role, it never says that this is okay. Instead, it gets you to ask why these women were acting out in the first place. Japan has very rigid gender roles and expectations. As a result, men and women are actively rebelling against it. It takes shaming for them to conform and fall in line. The incidence of rape in Japan is quite low, and because of this, the idea of a rapist is less about the people you know, and more about some boogeyman hiding in the bushes. Leave it to the Americans to take things seriously. The very concept of Rape Man raises societal questions that the Japanese rarely discuss, and with a heavily censored media, a hentai is about as close as you're going to get to genuine political commentary. In short, Rape Man is the hero that we don't want, but he's the hero that we deserve, solving problems with penetration.
Well, that was a deeply, deeply penetrating analysis.
Indeed, it was.
Deeply penetrating.
I'd say that we got to the core of the issue, don't you, Karen?
Oh, yeah, yes. We repeatedly plunged.
Yes.
We thrust repeatedly into that issue and splayed all of it out, for to view. Yes.
We penetrated
Brought out the
deep.
naked truth.
You know,
Yes.
we're
Yes.
and the topic was really hard, but I think we really worked through it.
It was really it was really, really hard. It was so hard. So
I'm going to speak.
Okay, Allison. There are no brakes on the rape train, Allison.
okay. I
And
only
right after-
actually
right
saw
after-
one episode, but it was interesting. It was strange. It was Japanese. It was Japanese. I'm sorry.
I'm used to that. Actually, this is even tame by Japanese porn standards. I mean, I actually watched one that was similar to that, where it had a man who was going around raping people with a mask on, but it wasn't comedy. It was really, really fucking terrible. I mean, it was meant to be brutal, and by the end of it, he got stabbed to death by the chick that he first raped at the beginning. Because he not only had he raped her, he impregnated her, she had to have an abortion, and then he raped her again. And it was terrible. It was that was actually really terrible. Whereas in Rape Man, you understand that it's satire. It's very it's almost lighthearted, oddly enough.
Yeah, no, it didn't offend me. I just had a really hard time kind of it's like Dr. Randomer Cam's animations about the honey badger.
Hey, leave Randomer Cam out of this. He's a great guy.
I'm understanding them. Well, like I'm thinking, I'm sitting there rubbing my head, going like, "What?" But at the same time, I can't look away. So
Well, what I found interesting is that they really like I can't actually believe that anybody in the West didn't realize that this was utterly satire. And the way it was set up, like they made this guy they actually went out of their way to make him charming and somewhat sympathetic.
He is. He's so likable.
He's like, yeah, I mean, outside of his extracurricular activities.
Aside from the raping, and he even feels bad about this.
I know.
But they seem to be. Yeah, he's totally conflicted. He's like, I don't know if I should be doing this. This kind of feels wrong.
But you can't.
Doesn't that make him...
You can't call rape an extracurricular activity when the dude's name is Rape Man. I'm sorry, you just can't.
Yeah, but no,
That's just like
Actually, his name is.
He's getting paid to do it, right?
Yeah. But he's a teacher by day and a rape man by night, and his name is actually Kesuke.
Well, then it is extracurricular.
he's
It's always Kesuke.
In the movie, it says that he was doing it to help the orphans, to raise money for the orphanage.
yeah, he was raising money for an orphanage, and he was raping for the orphans. But it's like, and the thing is that when he's a teacher, he's a PE teacher. He's apparently a PE teacher in what is apparently an all-girls school, and so we have these loving images of these girls' asses being thrust out towards him, and he is like so blasé, like he's like almost falling asleep, and it's like, I guess he leaves his rapiness in the night.
Yeah, it's
And,
interesting.
you know.
He doesn't bring that into his everyday. It's just like he does it
Exactly.
as
That's the
this is.
boundary.
I'm just doing this as for justice.
This is just my job. It's just my job. You know,
This-
I'm not in the politics. It's just my job.
Does this mean that rape is acceptable if it's in the best interest of the children?
Okay,
God damn it.
But it's like this show, it sets up these really bizarre, and this is why I think it's genuinely satire. It sets up these bizarre moments, like at the end where he's raped the thief into giving up her. Yeah, he's raped the thief into giving up her.
And the rape web. Remember the
baby.
rape web in the beginning? There's a woman literally in a rape web.
Oh god, that was hilarious.
It's literally a web of rape.
And he's walking on it like it's nothing.
I just said how she's hanging
There's
from the side of
there's a
Five
rape
Guys,
signal.
and
There's
he
a fucking
and
rape
he
signal.
just kind of goes out, and then he swings back in, and it's just like perfect aim, right? That never happens in a bed.
And there's lights.
6
There's
inches distance, that does not happen.
It's
like
all,
light
it's
coming
all,
out.
it's all over the top.
Hits the
If a
bullseye.
man were to do that, to actually do that, that is actually a recipe for fracturing the
penis.
yeah.
Yeah.
Penis. You know what? That's injecting a bit too much reality into this. I think.
Oh God! Are we ever? Oh wow, Allison.
Did you guys
Back to the
ever?
silly place. I want the silly place
See,
back.
see, guys. There wasn't enough tentacles in it for me to really feel like it was hardcore. It was just no. It was actually pretty minor. There was no full frontal. You didn't actually see any penis. And even the littlest bit of sexual activity was really pixelated. There wasn't even a pixelated dick in this. There was just.
It was just
when he was-
incredible.
It's like watching-
hitting the bullseye.
It's like watching a pixelated Ken doll, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
They didn't. All right, I will speak into that. I will take that silence and run with it.
Well, you're echoing. Yeah.
Everything's echoing now. I don't know why.
Yeah, you're speaking in the Royal Canterlot voice, Allison. And nobody
am I?
understands that joke here. Nobody understands that joke here.
I
I
know
do-
the
I
Royal
understand
Canterlot
that.
voice.
It's probably better now.
All right.
Well,
Okay,
did
bringing it back to the point I was trying to make. I believe this is a satire because it puts you in these weird situations. Like after he rapes the thief,
Against your will.
and she
Allison.
calls, against her will. I would presume that's
No.
implicit in the-
Rachel, stop raping Allison's voice.
No,
Enough.
I was saying they're forcing you into these really over-the-top situations against your will, Allison.
They're not just forcing you into these. Like after she calls him a monster, and he flinches as he walks away, and she's going, "You're a monster," and he flinches, and then later on he's like really upset over being called a monster, and you're like feeling bad for him, and you're like,
Right.
it ties into that the whole thing where somebody's a good guy like Spider-Man or Batman is misunderstood, and society thinks of them as being a monster when they're really not, and you're thinking, wow, why does she think he's a monster? And then you're like, wait, this guy just raped her.
Yes.
And it's just that uncomfortable moment of like,
Not only does he rape her, he's got like special rape moves that are supposed to like cause the
God,
most
that's
amount of
hilarious.
pain.
He's the
got
rapist of
No.
feminist imagining.
Exactly.
He's just
Was it,
misunderstood.
Infinity was
and
one
he
of
doesn't
them.
mean to do any harm. He's the rapist of feminist imagining.
Did you all end up seeing that they actually made another parody of Rape Man? Like it was an English dub by a black guy.
Yes.
And
No,
it's
I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's hilarious.
it's like he's every time before rape he's all like it's dandelion time, and it's just
It was hilarious.
don't
People
thank me.
don't.
Thank me.
People don't get why rape is funny in this situation. It's not because it's right. It's because it's really wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it's funny. It's not funny because if it was a normal thing, it wouldn't be funny. It would be,
It's not rape that's funny in this situation. It's the portrayal of it. It's
Exactly.
the way it's portrayed. Not
and
just
you,
that it
and you
is,
understand,
but the
and
manner
it's
and
funny
method.
because you understand what the reality of the situation is.
Right. And the confusing part, like we've been saying, is that he's a really likable character, except for that, And then exactly, he says these weird things, like he's waiting on the steps, waiting to rape Red Cat, and he sees these two people go at it in the department store, and he's like, ugh, looks like, ugh, they're so depraved. And then you have to stop, and you're like, wait, he's waiting to go rape this girl. Like saying that.
Public sex is so wrong, and then he goes
Exactly.
rapes her in front, on the top of a building, hanging over the side on like a gigantic, a gigantic
Exactly.
lit up billboard. And It's like you
And
can't take this
he's one big motherfucker, isn't he? Because he managed to get her all the way back up the side of the building before the police officer could see.
Yeah.
Swift.
And finish all his combo moves.
Oh my god, I died when I saw that. And then he
No, see, if
falls
it's
at one
with-
point.
If it's that kind of battle, it's not a combo move, it's a combo move.
Oh,
And then there's one point where he's falling, and I'm like,
Move, guys.
I'd share this. He was falling, and I'm watching it, right, and I'm all into it, and I'm in the middle of saying, "Oh no, Rape Man," and I just start dying laughing because I'm like, "Oh God, I can't."
you're not supposed to care, right? You know, rape makes a guy.
Yeah, I'm on the edge of my seat. Oh no, something's gonna happen to Rape Man. I'm like, "Oh my God, well played, sir. Well played."
And that's exactly why I think it's satire, because it makes you cheer for this guy, and he's
Right. Right.
like doing it
Like,
for the
no, I hope they don't catch him.
He's doing it for the children. He's thinking of the children, you guys.
Yeah, that makes it all okay.
Crystal, you're gonna have to send me that one with the demo.
Okay, yeah. I definitely will. That was the first one I saw.
Actually, I might have seen a clip of it, but probably not the whole thing.
Well, it
I don't know
ends-
if they did the whole thing. I only saw clip 2.
Oh.
It ends with him saying, "Don't
Don't
thank
thank-
the rape. No, don't thank me. Thank rape."
Rape.
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
God.
Like I said, he's the rape. He's the hero that we deserve. Yeah.
Thank you.
But it's like the
Because we're practically asking for it, you guys.
Oh, we're
Like,
begging.
did you see the
Begging for it.
Jezebel non-article on this? I mean, it was just a trigger warning and and a sentence on that this exists. It's like
Right.
trigger
Yeah.
warning. There's something called Rape Man. The end. That was their entire article.
That was their entire article.
Like, I don't need to say anything about this or talk about, Japanese culture or the implications of all this or the fact that Japanese culture is becoming increasingly sexless to the point where they're going to come down to the point where they're going to have to pay people to just fuck because they just won't do it anymore. It's too troublesome. They just...
It's almost kind of funny because it just the way that the pornography gets to a level of depravity, and yet you got the increase of herbivores. It's almost like people are like, why would I want to fuck? Porn satisfies everything I could ever want.
Exactly. And you think about even a hentai as a genre because these are women that don't actually exist. They're just voice actors in animation. And so a whole bunch of terrible, terrible, depraved things can happen to them, but you're okay. You can step into that fantasy because you know nothing's actually happening to a real person. So even steps away from human sexuality even further because you can say, okay, you can fantasize about a whole bunch of stuff. And never have to worry about it ever happening to a real person because there's that concern there for human beings, and there's that separation from flesh, from humanity. I mean, I'm not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying that this is the mindset that we don't engage in that kind of stuff anymore. It's just barbaric. We're just gonna watch sort of avatars just work out their sexual frustration.
Well, or at least our sexual frustration.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Ben get in for it too because I watched some of some Japanese porn where I don't know, the consent for the men seems a little questionable as well, but so I wouldn't just do. I don't think they're equal opportunity rapists.
It really is, especially in Countdown to Delight. That's an interesting, and yes, I've watched that, and people are gonna think, oh my gosh, Rachel watched that one. We've seen the same porn. yeah, we have, and that's notable because there's a boy, and he's just like trying to get away from his sister, who's consistently having gay sex with her girlfriend next door, and he can't do his homework because they're too loud, and so he decides that he makes friends with this girl who likes to dress in, like, I think Gothic Lolita or something, and she's rich, and she's like, she's very calm and tender. And then she drugs his tea, and he wakes up in her rape dungeon.
Oh my god.
Yes, that's...
Holy crap.
Uh-huh, and she's like a BDSM master.
Wow, of course.
And, yeah, she's a dominatrix, and pretty much, yeah, rapes
Yeah,
him.
I don't think this stuff is meant to be taken completely seriously. It's
No, because even at the end of that one, the sister, like the girlfriend and the next door neighbor all show up in like superhero uniforms, breaking through the wall, and they're like, "How did you even do that?" They even break the fourth wall, and they're like, "How does that work?" And then they suddenly do sort of a poof kind of deal, and then suddenly they're all set up to be in a or there's a cutscene, and they're suddenly set up to all have a lesbian sex. And they're like, well, how did this happen? How did we get here? Oh, well, this is what the customer wants, you guys. So we have to give it to them, and that's how it procedes.
That's hilarious.
This just made me realize something. Porn has the same logic as dreams.
Oh my god, that's so true.
It's like it has absolutely. It's like
why is this happening? Oh, because it must.
Yes.
It must
have to make sense.
Maybe that's the key, like porn and dreams are an expression of our subconscious underlying id, right? Maybe that's the connection there. But I don't know.
Let's move on, I guess. But I make no apologies about making references to tentacles.
Yeah, you've earned your tentacles. You've earned your tentacles through genuine effort.
And for the record, if you like zombie-themed porn, that does not make you secretly a zombie.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Also, we didn't have Nephenor this time around, so, I reserve the probe jokes too. There has to be some probing.
He was tweeting me recently, and he was vaguely threatening to probe me.
Yeah.
Yeah. He does that with everybody. You know what? You're not special. He probes everybody.
Right.
He's never threatened to probe me.
You're just one of his orifices, Sage.
Damn it! I thought I was special.
Well,
you're a special ginger child.
All right.
He's never.
Well, I wanted to say one thing. There was one review that went into set up Rape Man as like some sort of Confucian passion play about returning Japanese women to their traditional role. And
no, I don't think that's even coming close.
I don't think that's even, because the thing is that it's so full of so many contradictions and absurdities that I think it's actually, honestly, I think it's making fun of the idea of rape as redemption. But yeah, we should probably move on. Rape, it only goes downhill. Rape Man.
Yeah, no brakes on the rape train.
Yeah. Rape train just rolls over the hill and all the way.
Chugga.
And
Okay, where we're going. Okay.
All right, Geraldine. Geraldine is a cartoon short about Gerald, who wakes up one day as the woman Geraldine. It's somewhat cliched in its depiction of Gerald's transition, but does have interesting things to say about female privilege. Geraldine is suddenly seen as an object of concern by men who give her gifts, rides home, and compassion. On the flip side, Geraldine is also subject to sexual harassment, leading to the cliched scene of a man smacking her ass and Geraldine flipping out and headbutting him unconscious. Which leads me to one of my main criticisms. Geraldine is angry. Way, way, way too angry to be believable as a former man. Men don't get away with the level of anger Geraldine indulges in on a regular basis. And I imagine if Gerald would submissively accept sexual harassment from women, like most men seem to, most likely he would also submissively accept it from men as a woman. If you want to see Geraldine, just go on YouTube and do a search, or look in the Nerd Pod. Jesus, I can't.
Yeah, I watched it. It was actually it was pretty good. I mean, it was done really well for what it was. And the interesting thing was that you understood that after she got really upset about people not taking her seriously, you noticed that she kind of got, into the whole female empowerment thing and taking advantage of the things that she gets as being a woman that she didn't have as a man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting thing because, of course, they're pointing out the harassment and the downsides of being a woman, but on the other end, they show the things that she could only do as a woman, which is like, oh, I'm full of empowerment, and now I'm a model, and I can take off my clothes, and people will give me money, and now I'm famous, and everybody, all the eyes are on me, and I'm so empowered now.
This reminds me of the joke Jim Jeffries told. He says that one of the main differences between men and women is a man would get drunk and he'll wake up the next day and he'll say, "Oh my God, I partied so hard I spent $3,000." A woman parties that hard and she wakes up the next morning, she'd be like, "Oh my God, I partied so hard I made $3,000."
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I gotta take issue with one thing though, on the thought about how he accepts or doesn't accept the sexual harassment. There's a dynamic there that you're not thinking of. Men are fair game to other men as far as hitting back and responding to something that a man does that another man doesn't want. If they've been assaulted, they can defend themselves. Women, on the other hand, are not fair game. So a man will put up with things from a woman that he will not put up with from other men. And I don't think that becoming a woman would necessarily change his attitude toward other men, where he had previously seen them as people that it was okay for him to defend himself against. He wouldn't change that because he's now female.
True enough. That is an angle I'd add.
The weird bit is that he's marrying a man. See, I don't think that his sexuality would suddenly change just because he became a woman.
Well, he could have been bi.
Maybe he was bisexual.
Oh, it could have been. We don't know that.
It's entirely possible. I mean.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we don't even know if he was straight to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
It kind of seems like the other female, the blonde in the thing is, if she's not his sister, she's either a girlfriend or an ex-girlfriend.
Yeah,
well, he's married to him, so I assume she's not his sister. But I was thinking she could also be a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's a little ambiguous.
A buddy.
Yeah, it's rather ambiguous because not a single word is really spoken. There's just sort of like.
Yeah. But you can't really assume that he was straight, and it's entirely possible he was either gay or just simply bi, and he didn't have a problem with marrying the other guy, especially as a woman. Although obviously the guy, God, could you imagine? Would that be like the worst the worst day of your life at your wedding? Turn into a man in your wedding dress in front of everyone.
And then it's kind of like, the weird thing is that you saw how happy he was to be a dude again. He was like totally. At first he was surprised, and he was like smiling, big grin, like beard.
Well, I mean, he grew up as a man, so I mean, you could understand him wanting, and it wouldn't be bad to be a man. I'm just saying that's a lot of mood.
I know he was so happy afterwards because I think he was completely miserable, to be perfectly honest. I mean, because. I mean, when you look at him, I mean, he's completely miserable when it starts out because he's like, his entire identity is around being a man.
Well, I don't think I think it's just a situation where, you have this huge change. Like, if you woke up with tentacles.
Yeah. Totally not what you're accustomed to.
Yeah, totally not what you're accustomed to. You'd probably freak out a bit until you got... I mean, I think he dealt with it fairly... reasonably, and even being happy to go back to the way he grew up and presumably spent a couple more decades was believable. I don't think it's a statement on being a woman is bad.
I don't think that either. I just think he's happy to be himself.
Yeah, but it was. I'm just saying that would be that's a bad time for that to happen. in the middle of your wedding.
Middle of
Yeah.
the wedding.
There are better moments to that
Oh,
super.
well, there are worse moments, like you're birthing a child.
Oh, that would be really rough.
Oh god, that would be.
Damn.
Okay, touche, madam, you win.
There was a hole here a minute ago. I saw it. Nurse!
This is awkward. Where did the baby go?
I'm gonna be picturing how that feels the entire time I'm going to sleep tonight.
I'm sorry.
It feels like an emergency
You're
C-section.
welcome, Sage. You don't say sorry,
Right.
so you say you're welcome. You're welcome.
You're welcome,
Yes, there's
Sage.
also no brakes on the mind rape train either.
No.
No. I'm kind of...
The mind
like
rape
that.
train has officially jumped its tracks and is going down the cliff, and it's rolling over end to end, and everybody in it is just like a spaghetti rape scene.
It's horrible. I got it.
It's horrible. Anyway, let's move on.
You mean the spaghetti fell out of your pocket and just went everywhere?
It all starts by going down on Cliff,
Yeah.
whoever that is.
Okay.
Ugh.
Sorry, Cliff. Oh my God, Sage groaning.
I think it's time to rock
Well,
the
that's what should
dinosaur.
happen if he's in a room full of girls.
Open it up, get on the floor.
Okay. No, I think it's just groaning at the puns and or just bad sexual innuendo, which has got to be the most crazy, because usually it's feminists. But no offense, Sage. Sorry. Okay, I'm just digging my hole deeper with my tongue. Let's go to blurred lines.
Your tongue? Oh my gosh,
That's what she
Allison,
said.
now I'm thinking about... you never go ass to mouth.
Oh.
Says who?
Sage, save us from our depravity. Go.
Guys, this is going online, right?
Yeah. We actually
Okay.
we
Just
get
making sure.
I need to hire Rape Man to help me.
Call him on the rape
take you
signal.
away from all of this.
Yes, the rape. It's
Okay, so we had the blurred lines thing, right?
Yeah.
Blurred lines. Go for it.
Okay, so feminists at major publications from Jezebel to Salon have made their feelings in regards to Robin Thicke and his pop sensation Blurred Lines abundantly clear. They believe it is highly offensive, the lyrics are rapey, and the video objectifies women. Essentially, the song is a rape anthem, and Thicke is a rape apologist. Now, we could take their word on this, or we could actually look at what they are referring to and determine for ourselves if this is the case. Let's do that, shall we? Let's start with the lyrics. Writers at Salon claim that the song is about liberating a good girl by showing her that she actually wants crazy wild sex that she isn't asking for, as Thicke keeps repeating, "I know you want it." An actual review of the lyrics paints an entirely different picture. For starters, Thicke sings, "Okay, now he was close, tried to domesticate you, but you're an animal, baby, it's in your nature, just let me liberate you, you don't need no papers, that man is not your maker." That sound to me like Thicke outright rejects strict and stifling gender roles and those that try to impose them on others. Not particularly rapey, or even misogynistic. Let's look some more. Quote, "But you're a good girl, the way you grab me, but must want to get nasty, go ahead, get at me," unquote. This would appear that the person initiating this sexual encounter, without asking for consent, mind you, is the woman he is singing to, as she grabbed him first. But after doing so, it is Thicke who gives clear and enthusiastic consent when he says, "Go ahead, get at me." He also repeatedly states that he hates these blurred lines. This suggests that he dislikes the idea of not having clear and concise consent, which implies an actual desire for clear consent and condemnation of rape. Moving on to the supposedly objectifying video, feminists rage over scantily clad women dancing around men, claiming it is only men that are worthy of clothing. There are several implications of this critique, all of which being misogynistic in nature. This assumption that these women are being objectified and treated poorly rather than making the conscious decision to perform in this manner and exploit their sexuality for financial gain denies their agency to make their own informed decisions. It also reinforces the double standard of feminists claiming to advocate for women's right to choose, but condemning women who choose to engage in behavior that does not suit the feminist agenda. Finally, it displays an astounding level of hypocrisy when feminists encourage engagement in slut walks, trying to reclaim the word slut by marching around scantily clad and claiming empowerment. But they condemn women who march around scantily clad of their own free will for monetary gain.
Yep, that review was by Jess K. and it's good.
Kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kills it.
Yeah,
It kills.
that's
She
great.
kills dead. She raped that one.
Dang it, Allison. I thought we were trying to put brakes on the rape train, even though there are none.
There are no brakes on the rape train.
I mean, it's kind of like Rape Man just like got on the front of the rape train and just like was trying to like, you know, spew out like rape webs to try and stop the train.
And he was actually raping the train, you know, so that it didn't work.
No. I'm saying he's trying to stop the train, but you know, with
By
his
raping
webs.
it? By
But
correct-
it's just not. Yeah.
But it didn't work because it's the rape train, so he's suddenly adding to the rape. Okay, let's actually talk about flirt.
Damn it.
Does that mean it increases the velocity? Okay, let's not even.
Okay.
No, he's trying to put brakes on the rape train.
People.
And does that mean it's going to hit ludicrous speed?
Down. Settle down.
I can't believe Jared
Because
still has to
Robin
settle
Dick-
down.
Robin
Ludicrous speed.
Robin Dick is the one who is demanding that we settle down. He is the one who is saying, I'm gonna watch and wait for you to salute, but you don't pick, right? I'm gonna watch for your signal. I'm gonna watch for your clear sign that you're willing, but you don't do it. Oh well. Like, literally in the song, nobody has sex. Nobody has sex in the song. He's like, he sits back. He's like, okay, I'm just going to let you call all the shots, baby. Right? I'll do this to you. I'll do that to you. I'll do things your boyfriend doesn't do. I'll smack your bum. I'll pull your hair. Right? I'll do all kinds of crazy shit to you if you consent to it. If you salute. Right? But you don't pick. Like, literally, no sex happens in the song. None.
Well,
Not-
it's not.
But this is a rape anthem.
Well, you know what? How did they make this into rape?
They make everything into
Everything
rape.
is
They can
rape.
make popcorn
They
into
said-
rape.
Like I
The interesting thing is that there's probably a lot more of just obvious, you know, misogyny in, say, you know, hip hop and R&B culture, but nobody cares about that. And nobody cares about when they openly the implications of some of the songs by Rihanna. When you know that she was dating Chris Brown, who beat the shit out of her.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
You can even go into lyrics. I mean, you a stupid hoe, you a stupid hoe, you a stupid hoe, repeated over and over again.
Let's not
is
forget,
at least
there's some
more.
hoes in this house. There's some hoes in this
Yeah.
Look
Exactly. But
lyrics.
nobody cares about that
All
because it's
single
not,
ladies.
you know.
Look at
You know,
look
but
at the
I
lyrics
think
of
this-
all the single ladies. If you
Yeah.
want to put a ring on it,
Right.
Oh God. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Buy it,
Yeah.
purchase it,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
They
That
are for sale.
Exactly.
that was
Yep.
not disgusting perversion of human relationships, right?
Right.
But him saying the only thing I'm
Or
offering
even bills.
the only thing I'm offering you is a good time with me.
Oh, and only if you consent. How did they turn that into rape?
And it doesn't
They-
happen. They don't even have sex.
Oh, he's imposing something worse than sex. Agency.
Beyonce's song "Bills,
Right.
Bills, Bills" with Destiny's Child, like way
Oh,
back
yeah,
in the
can you
'90s.
pay my bills?
Yeah.
Can
Oh, if you
pay
wanna
my
go
bills?
back to the 90s and find-
the entire thing was about saying, "Well, you're not really a man if you can't pay for all my shit."
Well, okay,
Exactly.
this is really what I said, what I have said repeatedly when it comes to feminist calls for enthusiastic consent to be the norm in colleges, right, on campus, that what men need to do is say to women who are interested in them, when things are starting to get a little bit, you know, flirty and hot and heavy, right, to say, now you're going to break out your pom-poms and you're going to beg. You're going to cheer and you're going to beg. Because otherwise I won't know if you really want it.
I mean, there's a point where you're
And
gonna have.
the howls of protest from women, not feminists, but from women, will be heard into the stratosphere. Because women think that men need to prove themselves to get sex. Women think that men need to purchase sex. women think that the flow of resources in return for sex is going in their direction. The effort, even if it's not money, even if it's not resources, at least the effort is supposed to go in their direction, right? That's how things are supposed to go.
Because clearly sex is not supposed to be something you mutually enjoy. It's obviously a favor. Like it's something that you have to that's only done for somebody. I never understood when this mentality even caught hold.
When old as the hills, it's the world's oldest profession.
Pretty much, yes, I understand that. It's just what's really funny to me is that it's essentially an eternal price war too. Like I can't remember. They're bringing up that book again, Habit by Neil Martin, when he was talking about products being habit forming. It's interesting because he was talking about business relationships, such that in the event that a business relationship is not conducted properly, one side of it ends up trying to continue to exceed expectations and moving goalposts eternally because they're interested in customer satisfaction. That's what he said. He said businesses make a mistake of concerning themselves too much with customer satisfaction. He says if you concern yourself too much with customer satisfaction, the customers will, and it will just change what it means to be satisfied. So it's and that same dynamic seems to hold here, where if a man attempts to satisfy a woman in terms of the customer satisfaction deal by making himself out to be the best possible product, and for which is bought with sex, it will never end. The goalpost will always keep moving.
Well, because they don't want to reverse. They don't want to consider that it's possible for women to be the consumers, women to be the customers, and men to be the sellers. Right? They don't want to flip that. Right? It has to be that the woman is the one who is in the position of giving something valuable to someone, and the man is in the position of trying to win or earn or steal something valuable from the woman, right? That's a dynamic that's as old as the hills. It's been with us forever.
It makes that story of the Rent-A-Gent thing more interesting, though.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, but the Rent-A-Gent is selling the boyfriend experience.
Right.
Yeah.
So does a lot of escort services. They sell the
the Rent-A-Gent is definitely escorting.
There was definitely I think they said the policy was that there was no sex on the clock, but they phrased it such that there is a possibility. It's just that you're paying for courtship, and then it's still interesting though because
that's escort speak. It's pure escort speak.
Right.
I'm here. You're paying for my time, and if we happen to have sex, you're not paying for that. You're just paying for my time.
That's actually how prostitution happens in Japan, even though it's completely illegal. It's what they'll do is they set up these clubs where they're sort of escort clubs where you can talk to a girl or a man. And you can buy their company at that club. But anything that happens, but anything that happens outside the club, that's off the books.
Right.
So by doing that, by saying, okay, well, anything that happens, we have nothing to do with it. Basically, let's legalize prostitution, even though they're organizing it.
Yep.
Just to. And that's back to the topic of blurred lines. There's something I wanted to say about it that struck me as I read the review. I actually listened to I keep repeating it, and it's sort of funny that how do they create rape out of this? But I think that this really isn't about rape. It's about the fact that I think a lot of feminists, and maybe women in general, really have a problematic attitude towards women consenting to men sexually and themselves consenting to men sexually. And I think that exists because they drive part of their identity from perceiving themselves to be more desirable, sexually desirable, being sexually desired by men. And consent is an unequivocal expression of a woman desiring a man. And this song, he's talking about a woman desiring a man. He's talking about this woman giving him like almost an animalistic desire, like an animalistic consent. She's totally driven by her desire. And I think that's what really gets in the feminist craw about this song. It's actually a challenge to the source of their identity, because they take that part of their identity from being more desirable than men. I mean, look at Lacey Green. She would be nothing. She'd just be a creepy, sort of creepy, vapid person. If she
is
were
a creepy, vapid person.
Everybody.
Yeah, she would be nothing without her tits. To be perfectly honest,
Right.
I couldn't go do that. I couldn't go do that right now because I'm nearing 30, and I got stretch marks. There's no way I could have the exact same effect. Oh shush. But I mean, the only way that you can actually be a sexpert these days is unless you look hotter than Lacey Green, or if you look like somebody like Sue Johansson, or what was that other lady? The famous one,
Dr. Ruth.
Yeah, Dr. Ruth.
It's entirely
because it's totally acceptable. People love to see like old ladies talking about sex because it's fascinating.
I think I think it's more just because I cannot stand Lacey Green, and I refuse to allow her to be this like the old. Well, I can't allow or disallow, but like I have so much to say about it, and I don't look like her, and I don't look like any of those people, and I don't think I look like Dr. Ruth.
To go do it though. You've got
a little younger than Dr. Ruth.
I love the shoji screens that you've got going on there.
I'm hoping through persistence and just having a really freaking big mouth that hopefully, people start to hear that there are other options besides Lacey Green, and to recognize how damaging Lacey Green is to sexuality.
I just can't believe she's on Discover News or.
Is she real? Did that turn out to be real?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. She actually is with Discovery News. I think she got picked up because she happens to be, of course, in California, where I think they're.
She got picked up because she's shiny.
Okay, my point is that all of her authority is invested in the fact that she's a gatekeeper of sex. She's female.
Yes.
And this song threatens that authority. And because it threatens that authority, it threatens the very foundation of feminism, which is basically based on either shaming men sexually or being the gatekeepers of sex, which is sort of the same thing.
So basically, they're slut shaming in their criticism. They're slut shaming the hypothetical subject of the song.
Okay, I can hear Karen wants to talk. I can hear her going, no.
What is the ultimate goal? Okay. It's not to slut shame, right? The ultimate goal, slut shaming is a means to an end, right? Mm-hmm. Slut shaming, we know that women do it more than men. It's a means to an end. The means to the end is to keep female sexual value high relative to men's, right? And so you literally have the concept of consent, meaning I'm going to say okay to what you want, or I'm not going to say okay to what you want, right? But it's always you want, right? I'm always just either assenting or rejecting, right? Because I am more valuable than you, right? Therefore, I am the one who decides yes or no. You are the one who comes to me. I am the one who says yes or no. I am the one who consents or does not consent. This is the entire freaking basis of the double standard with drug sex, right? Why the man is the default rapist? Because we automatically assume that the woman is the one who gives the final yes or no to whether things go forward. The man is the one who wants it, right? It is, and to have it flipped in this way, in the song Blurred Lines, to have it flipped where she has to actually pursue him. She has to actually make it clear that she wants him. That strikes at a huge... Like, that basically says female sexuality is worth nothing. Right? It's worth no more than male sexuality. And we know that male sexuality is worth nothing. Yeah, it's worth nothing in society's eyes. Well, it's worth less than nothing. It's harmful. It's a negative value.
Well, think about how many sexologists there are that are men. How many
Right.
You know, I mean, you try and make a guy who's about the same age as Lacey Green and have him do the exact same show and see how popular he is.
God, even her name is annoying. I just.
I know. You know,
Well,
I
actually,
figured
if
out
a
what
guy-
her name sounds like.
She's Mormon. That's what it is.
It's
I
She's
figured out her
Mormon. It's
voice-
the whole keep sweet kind of, or she was Mormon before she became an atheist.
Her
There-
voice
there's-
sounds like a dog chew toy. I finally figured it out.
I've always said.
I thought it was more like Michael J. Fox and Edward Scissorhands caught in a fucking air horn. Like it's just,
See, I've always said that her personality and like her whole presence is kind of how Nails on a Chalkboard feels.
I'm bisexual, and I would not have that. I'm sorry, I would not, because she would not shut up long enough for me to get on. Right? Like,
See, I wouldn't want to see her O face.
I
wouldn't.
no, that would be okay as long as she wasn't talking.
No, but she wouldn't stop talking, Karen.
Yeah, because that's how you have to.
fast as
That's
she
how you
can.
have to. That's how you have to consent with Lacey Green. You have to-
That's what
you have to
ball
con-
gags are for.
Yeah,
All
you have
need
to
is a ball
constantly
gag.
talk. Yeah, all you have to
Ball-
do is you have to consistently talk to her and say, "Hey, hun, is this okay? Is this okay? Do you want me to flip you into doggy style? Could you climb on top of me and do reverse cowgirl?
You gotta keep a fucking.
Do you want me to bend you over this table?"
You gotta keep a fucking arbitrator in the room. Just like it's.
Are you okay?
She wants to be treated like an infant.
Head down while you lick my taint? Like,
Are you okay? Do my balls taste okay?
I figured it out. I think I just
Oh God!
thinking about it yesterday.
like, I just
Is the cum like sour today?
God.
Okay, I
How
think
is
I
that?
figured something out, and I did it yesterday on a walk, and it didn't involve Rape Man, but I was thinking about the way feminists conceptual. I was actually thinking about Lacey Green's video on consent. I was thinking about that video and how she seems to want, like, the reality is, I think that she is so passive. She even wants a man to consent for her, to take away the conflict between wanting to retain her desirability and having to give consent. So if a man could actually consent for her, it would be like the perfect universe for her. And she's trying to deal with that cognitive dissonance that a man can't consent for her because then it's rape, I guess. But she really wants him to because it's uncomfortable to express desire, because that questions, like, if she isn't more desirable than a man, then she has absolutely zero authority, and she must have her identity based on that because she must be getting a shit ton of money because of it. And it's that sort of spiky cognitive dissonance that she's trying to wrap her little fingers around, and she just can't. So she's literally trying to get a guy to try to consent for her, but it's impossible.
I think Rape
So-
Man could help.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, we're gonna get so
Oh,
much
you know they're
shit
going
for
to portray that. Somebody's
guys,
going to hear that and portray it as a threat.
Someone's gonna,
Oh,
someone's gonna
not
hear
a
that,
threat.
take it out of
It's
context,
not
and
a
they're gonna
threat.
be like,
It's a cartoon, a hentai
she's
cartoon.
Yes, okay,
He
yes.
doesn't
We
exist.
have now officially threatened Lacey Green with a
I
cartoon
don't want
character.
her to be raped.
See,
I'm
I
just
don't
saying-
think she actually likes men. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I mean, even the guy that she has is a very kind of he's not gonna question her logic as much. Even when he said that he questioned her logic, she kind of gives him that sort of like, "Aww, look at you.
Right.
Did you think that up all by yourself? That's sweet." I mean, I don't think she really thinks much of men. I think that the only way that you can get into Lacey Green's pants and make her happy in bed is if you're a mangina.
Or an android.
I don't even think so, because I think we
And someone
discussed
willing to walk on eggshells and bend over backwards and cater to her every whim.
No,
Yeah,
you-
no,
And
I don't
sex
think
should be that way. Sex should not be that way.
no,
Lacey
but I
Green
don't think that
unsatisfiable.
that would make her happy. Actually, I think that, like, she really needs just a good railing. Consensual, yes.
Yes,
Maybe
of course
the railing
consensual.
is
You know what
not
she needs?
railing
She needs a dom. She needs to go to a dom. That's what
She-
she needs.
She needs somebody.
She needs to be dommed
like-
in a very consensual dommed way.
She needs to fuck
Not
her-
by a cartoon.
So if
Not by a
you-
cartoon.
we even talking about what Lacey Green needs? Who gives a shit?
50 Shades of Grey.
Lacey Green should start asking what we need, and we need her to shut up.
We give a shit because if she actually got fucked good and proper, maybe she'd be happy, and then she would stop
Right.
making videos.
Apparently, she hasn't been really fucked even reasonably well until her recent boyfriend, because she did that entire video where she talked about how she'd been faking orgasm the entire time because she couldn't be bothered to stop being a dead fish and just laying there and expecting the guy to fucking read her mind and know what she wants or what feels good.
Yeah.
It's like
like literally, when I was 15 fucking years old, okay, I was like, I had sex with a guy, it wasn't that great. Okay, so I'm gonna just like spend some time by myself and figure out what does it for me. I'm gonna figure out what buttons I need to push. Oh, hey, here's the buttons. Like, take it all into my own hands. Like, literally, I had more experience at 15 years old than Lacey Green does now. She's putting herself out as an expert.
Exactly. I can't believe that she calls herself
she's
an
like
expert.
she's like 23, 24 years old, and her
And she was
background,
her
her
first
birth.
orgasm was just recent. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
She's an expert in
It
whining.
was probably in the last, I think somewhere in the last 3 years, like with this boyfriend, she finally said, well, I think we should try something else because, I've been faking it this entire time. How do you stay with somebody after that? You're because that's like ultimate
Well, my question is-
dishonesty.
My best friend had her
What happens when her
first
boyfriend
orgasm
says, I've been
date
faking it
that-
this entire time? How does the relationship survive?
Like, I just don't get it. Like, even if you can't, like, because there are lots of women who can't have orgasms through, penetration. They can't have orgasms just from PIV sex, right? Some of them can't have orgasms while having penetrative sex at all, right? You learn what works for you because you learn it from
You.
You become
Yeah.
self-reliant. You become
Self-exploration.
work.
You become
Right?
self-reliant, for your sexuality, and then sex no longer is this sort of chore. It's no longer something you do for somebody else. It's something that you do, to bond with someone, to connect
Exactly.
with them. It's an intimate experience because it's not about orgasm at that point. It's
Exactly.
about because you
It's
can
not a
have
means to
orgasm
an end.
anytime you want. It's not about fulfilling someone else's
Oh,
needs. It's about like I said, connecting.
Right,
0 to
exactly.
0 in less than 60 seconds for me, but like what gets me is, like, I was working with this young woman. She was 19, and I guess some of the guys at work had told her that her boyfriend, who was a little bit older than her, maybe 24, right, masturbates. And she comes to me, she's absolutely horrified, right, and she's like, I can't believe they, like, because they all come
Wow.
to advice, right?
I know. Can
And-
you believe that prototype
And
still
she's
exists?
like, I can't believe he does this. Like, why would he do that? And I'm like, well, okay, so how old is he? And she's like, he's 24. And I'm like, does he actually masturbate? And I'm like, oh yeah. And she's like, well, how often? I'm like, every day, right? And she's like, but we have sex all the time. Why would he do that? And I'm like, because he can, yo. Like,
Right.
probably twice a day, right? And she's like,
He's enjoying
Actually-
himself.
But-
Here's the thing. I'm actually gonna.
I literally said to her, well, haven't you, like, don't you do that? And she's like, I would never.
Oh no.
And I'm like, why not? Like, how do you know
That's
what you
terrible.
like if you've never actually done that? And she says, he's just supposed to know.
Oh. Ugh. God.
Okay.
Ugh.
One last point, because I know Typhon is not doing so hot. But this is the last thing, and I'm saying this is important because this is actually sort of an homage to you folks, because I remember way back when you guys did that video on porn, and there was something I thought to myself, I want to call in and I want to make this comment because you guys missed it. And I said, well, here it is. Girls often feel threatened by the very idea of guys masturbating to pornography because they take it personally. It's almost like they believe that they own
Or in
his
competition.
sexuality. Yeah, that they're in
Right.
competition, that they own his sexuality, that he can't touch his own dick without their permission.
Right.
And
That's
that's
the thinking of other women thing, right? They're happy to have their man masturbate if all they're thinking about is them.
yeah.
Right.
But when it's another woman,
Looking at images of other women.
you freak out.
Right.
Well,
They-
I think, I mean, to be fair, it's probably an insecurity issue. I know that I've dealt with that
Well,
as well.
yeah, it is. It really is. It's a sense of insecurity. But the truth is, you have to recognize that even they know that this is fantasy. Everything about porn is a fantasy, and they know that going in. And if they don't, they're probably not old enough to be looking at porn.
Mm. Yeah. They're going to take Rape Man seriously and think it's some sort of
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
statement of Confucianism in Japanese society. But I think with that, we might want to move on. Unfortunately, I don't think we have time to go through the she slut thing.
We have as much time as you need.
Yeah, but
I know you're not doing
Yeah.
so great, Top Line.
yeah,
Right.
it's
And
later.
if anybody wonders, I'm not sending any hentai after Lacey Green.
Aww.
Good.
You're not going to conclude with some tentacles like Racy
For-
Green?
You know what? The people
For
that are
those
listening,
listening
the people
who think
that
I'm
are
sending
listening,
out the hentai mob.
I demand Rule 34. I'm
Lacey
calling
Green?
Rule 34 on this, on Lacey Green and maybe Rape Man or
Listen. If I see any Rule 34 of Lacey Green, I will record a video of me sticking fire in my eyes.
No, don't do that, Sage. Don't punish
Oh my
yourself.
god, I'm going to take it to an uncomfortable place.
I'm
34 Sage
Don't
and
that
Lacey
pledge.
Green.
It's not worth it.
Oh, no! Bad, Allison! Bad! I'm gonna get Rape Man and just, come after you for that. Yeah, I'm gonna get Rape Man on that, with my rape signal. Rape signal.
That's going too far.
Should we close this with a 40-pound box of rape song?
Yeah. 40-pound box of rape. 40-pound box of
Box of rape. Damn it. Okay, hold on.
None of us are singers.
Right. If you're
I
Well, I'm not a
I
singer.
am.
Yeah, you are.
I'm singing with my fingers.
okay.
I'm singing in my head.
You know
There's
what?
too much giggling going on.
Come to think of it, that song that I made,
You said come.
This is the problem when you were afraid to open it.
that song I made, the perverted version of the Beauty and the Beast song.
Oh my god.
Which one?
It's a parody of Be Our Guest. I mean,
Oh,
that's
God.
kind of got the
Is it
same
like-
message
is it
that
like,
Robin Thicke's
Squeeze My-
song has.
Is it like a squeeze my breast?
No, I'll be your best.
Oh.
It's kind of like, the same thing with Robin Thicke. It's telling the chick, hey, if you really want it, come at me, and this is what I'm going to do for you.
Well, it's the girl, a lot of women act as if they're owed men. They're owed men and they're owed their sex.
Yeah, but they don't want the man to position himself as superior.
Right.
That's the thing, right? The Robin Thicke song positions the man as the superior sexual partner.
Right.
All right,
Yeah.
and with it back on topic, let us conclude with that.
We had a topic?
We tried to.
There are no rules here because, that was completely demolished at the 40-pound box of rape.
But we are topical.
Oh, yeah, it's my fault. It's the guy's fault. Got it.
No.
No, it's okay. It's okay, Sage. You're fine.
Yeah, you know what, Sage? I think that the Rule 34 that I mentioned probably is where it went beyond downhill till it
Yeah.
was on the other side of the earth.
Well, that's
wrong,
I
Allison.
think
All right, okay, let's end it before it gets any worse. Good night, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. See you next 2 weeks.
Charlie.